Yay. Okay, so here we go, guys. I put out the challenge this week of grow your business. And what I want you to do is get into the habit of working your business full circle. And Mary Kay used to always say, don't just take a piece of the pie, take the whole pie. And what that means is sell the product, share the opportunity. And when we talk more about the career path and where the money is, your sales is your instant money, but your team building is your future money. Like I said in boot camp last week, that's going to be you paying off your house. That's you paying off your debt. That's your second home or college tuition, retirement. Those are, that's big money. I'm going to go down the list and mute the noise. Hang on for a second. And hang on. Okay, now we shouldn't have any noise. And so what I want to do today is dissect this whole sharing the opportunity, because there's some we'll call it protocol. When you are sitting down with your sales director, please don't feel like that you have to do your own marketing career chats, because you will probably miss a lot of great people just because there's a strategy behind it. And when you're doing these practice career chats and marketing career chats, whatever you want to call them. We used to call them interviews, and people said, oh, that's too scary. So we call them marketing appointments or whatever. Career chats. I like career chats because you put coffee with it and it's fun. But there's a strategy behind it. And I know last week on our Zoom call, we talked about the different personalities. Well, doing your career chats with your sales director is how you see their personalities play out. You literally see it come to the forefront at the table right there, and then your director can pick up on it, and she will turn the interview, and I'm going to call it an interview, to the direction of that person's personality. All right. So basically what she will do at that point is speak their love language. All right. It is communications 101. Everyone, I believe, before you ever get married, should take a course in personality, so that you know that your husband or your wife is not the same personality you are. Most of the time, we marry the opposite of what we are. And a lot of times, if you marry someone who's exactly your personality, there's a lot of friction, okay, because there's not enough yin and yang, okay? We'll just say that. I can use my sister as an example. She's always married someone with her personality. And let's just say she's not married anymore. All right. So what I want you to say, I want you to know is, please don't ever be afraid of booking these marketing career chats with your sales director. I truly want you to take it as this is training, this is skill training, just like your director comes and does, skincare classes for you or presentation for you. This is just the next phase of your training. And so what we're going to teach you is some do's and don'ts, and then we're going to talk more about the strategy behind it and more about the personalities and things like that. So once again, check off, you're not going to be afraid. First of all, we are not there to twist anyone's arm. We are not going to beg anybody to sell Mary Kay. We are not going to force anybody to sell Mary Kay. Literally, we're there so that you see us talking with that person's personality. Now, during the career chat, here's what you need to do is zip it, okay? Mary Kay used to always say, you have one mouth and two ears for a reason. You're going to talk less and listen more. Because here's why. If your director is talking and there are certain personalities that are blah, 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 they're very charismatic, they're very fun, they're very people-oriented, that's great. But if you've brought to the table a prospect that is not your personality, the things that excited you, I can bet my next paycheck will not excite her. All right, I'm just going to give you a few examples. Let's just say that you're the personality that you want to have every handout under the moon. And your Mary Kay life book, is like this thick. And your director starts talking about the training, and then you whip out your notebook, and this personality is not that personality that likes paperwork, and she sees all this paper. You've lost her right there. It would be like your director is talking like the Charlie Brown teacher. Wah, 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 wah. She saw all the paperwork, and she is running like the wind, all right? So don't get your notebook out. Don't share any of your own personal experiences. Just listen, okay? Now, if you are, well, we'll get into other personalities later, but so you get that. Just sit there and listen. So what your director is going to do, the very first question that she's going to ask your prospect is, tell me a little bit about yourself, okay? I'm sure Marianne and Trinity shared this last week, but the 4 personalities are D, I, S, and C, the DISC, okay? Each personality is going to answer this differently, okay? The D personality is going, when you say, tell me a little bit about yourself, the D personality is going to say, well, I'm a graduate of Florida State. I'm vice president of Bank of America. They're going to give you all their accolades. And then, boom, they might remember that they have some children. My interview with Roxanne, my senior, was, she said, tell me a little bit about yourself. I remember this like it was yesterday. I had no idea about personalities. I can tell you how I answered, because at the end I was mortified that I forgot to tell her I had 2 children, okay? Now, at that point in my life, I was a little more I and D, and my S, even though I had 2 babies, was still way down on the charts. What you probably learned last week is that eventually, the more you study the personalities, the more you will come up to an even level, an even playing field on that personality chart. And it's because I believe at that point you've mastered communications, because you've learned how to pull a little bit from every personality that you've met, and you know how to pull that from within when you're talking to someone. And so now when you're talking to someone who is a more C personality, you can go very more reserved and kind of talk to her in her love language, all right? And so D personality is going to give you all her accolades. She is not afraid of this career. She sees, you can show her the Applause magazine with all the national sales directors' checks, their monthly thousands of dollar checks. You can show her the career path. You can show her who makes the most money. You can go all the way to the top. It will not scare a D personality. But if the D personality whips this out because she loves it, and she's at your, she's brought a prospect to the table for a marketing chat, and she says, get out the career, steps to success. And this person is not a confident D personality and a driven personality. This might scare her, okay? Doing all this would scare her, depending on what her personality is. So we don't even get this out unless we know that person's personality. So that's what I'm talking about. You have to be careful and not be so into yourself and who you are and what made you excited that you shut your prospect down. All right, so we were talking about the I personality. The I personality, tell me a little bit about yourself. She's going to start from birth. You're going to know everything about her. This is going to be a very long-winded conversation. She's going to do most of the talking. So if you're at the table with your director and you're like, well, my director's not saying anything, it's because I am letting her live it out right here. I'm getting to know her, and I know her personality. And if I come at her with all these facts and all my accolades, she didn't get center stage, and her personality needs center stage. And so a career chat with an I personality could go on a little longer than scheduled. You can pretty much bet that it's going to last longer than your 30-minute allotment. And so when you are doing your power day with your sales director, power day is when you try to do 3 to 5 back to back to back, because you can see a lot of results in that one day, 30 to 45-minute increments. So when I schedule these, and I say, let's say Lynn is scheduling hers, and I'll say, Lynn, tell me a little bit more about Phoebe, or tell me a little bit more about Haley, tell me a little bit more about Judy, and then we decide who needs to go last, okay? So let's say Phoebe is a high I personality. I'm going to tell, and Lynn says, oh, Phoebe is such a charismatic personality. She loves people, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, let's move Phoebe to the last because if you put Phoebe first, Phoebe is going to take up all of her time, and we're not going to be able to get Phoebe the time that she needs with me. So that, because when she finally finishes talking and telling me about her life, and she will go from start to finish, when we finally get to where she is this point of her life, then I can open up and say, okay, Phoebe, let me share with you what I think why this business will be a fit for you, okay? And then I start talking to her, because she's I personality. I start talking to her about the prizes, seminar, she usually, if an I personality was a cheerleader, they were in some kind of performing arts, or they were doing something where they got center stage. And so you can talk to them about seminar, and I can share them about me being on stage at seminar. And I've got a video of me being on stage and waving in front of 10,000 women with my sash on. Now, a D personality is going to go, a C personality is going to go, oh, I don't care about that. And an S personality is going to say, how many days did you have to spend away from your children? Do you see? You have to be very careful with the facts that you share. So that's some of the things. So an S personality, when you interview an S personality, tell me a little bit about yourself. She's going to say, well, I've been married for 25 and a half years. My husband has been employed with Georgia Power for 15 and a half, and we have 2.5 children, 1 dog, 1 cat, and a rabbit. Okay, no offense, Lynn, I know you got rabbits. I just went to Lynn's house. She's got pigs and rabbits. I love it. I came home telling all my kids about it. And so with an S personality, I'm not going to whip out my seminar video. I am not going to tell her about our upcoming beach retreat just yet, and that she has to be gone from her family. They do not, they're very family focused. If you notice the things that they talked about, she never talked about herself. An S personality gets so wrapped up in her family that she doesn't even know who she is anymore. And so, Mary Kay will bring her out again, but today at that table is not the day to do that. And so what I want to do when I'm focusing on this S personality is I want to talk to her about, okay, let me see, who's an S? Is there any S's on here? I'll make up somebody. Well, Tori's an S now. After the baby, she's no longer a D. She went totally flatline on the D personality, and she went totally up on the S. So I would say, Tori, let's talk about how we can get you home with Adela, and how we can get Adela those baby shoes she needs, and how we can get, you more time, and how I can help you and Will. And, it's family. This is all Tori wants to hear right now. I don't even know if Tori's on. She's going to love this, and I'm using her as an example. And so I'm going to talk to her. Tori knows that we're working with her to get her home to be with her, to be more with her baby. So it's all family at this point. Now, eventually, when we're studying personalities and we're supplying that void that S personality needs, that this is why she came into Mary Kay, to be able to take care of her family, to take some pressure off the husband, to give the children all they need. Once those needs are fulfilled, then that S personality will start saying, hey, I want that diamond ring. I want a free car. My family would love to see me driving up in a free car. My kids would get so excited if I earned a free car. It can all come back to you know, she can learn to find things that she likes to do once those needs are met. And that's an S personality. A C personality, when you're talking with them, this is probably the toughest personality for me to interview, because of all my career, or all my personalities that and I do my chart, the C probably is definitely my lowest. Some of you who watch me train and know how I am about how I'm so strategic about training, it shocks people to know that I am not a C personality. Some people have actually thought that that was my personality, but in this business, you will work harder at your weaknesses than you will on your strengths. Now, you stay in your strength zone, but you have to work on your weaknesses. And my weaknesses, believe it or not, is organization, detail. That's why when you get some texts and boxes from me, there's always mistakes. I don't see them. That's my personality. My true personality was DI, okay? I'm off the wall. But I have worked really hard to get my systems in place, because I could not connect with those S and C's in the very beginning. And that's why in the very beginning, I connected with all D's and I's. And I had a lot of offspring in the beginning. Boom, 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 right away. I thought I had this national thing licked, because I could move those I personalities up. I could move those D's up, because that's what my entire unit was that it was me. But I had to have some balance. And so I had to work on those other personalities and that inner C in me. And so that's where my systems have come into place. And I'm very strategic about my systems, and I don't change them. I stick to them. And so you can become all personalities. You just have to really, really work on it. Now, what I want to talk about next is, when you finally figure out their personalities and you start talking about the different avenues of the business. So that's why when it comes to the marketing material, I like my 4 squares, because my 4 squares are pretty much going to hit somebody's hot button. Money, cars, prizes, and flexibility. Okay, flexibility is going to be, it's usually going to be the S personalities. The money, it can be the D and the C. The C wants to make sure she can make money. Cars and prizes are the I's. Everybody's got at least 2 personalities when they do the test. And so when you're sitting there, these 4 squares are going to hit all of those boxes. All right. Now, also when you sit down and when you get someone to watch a video or take a packet home, this is the format that I want you to do. I want you to hand them out a packet or a flyer like this, okay? It's on cardstock. I can send it out to everybody. Remember what we said, cardstock. Women will not throw away cardstock because it's like special. And so you're going to get them that information. You're going to send them a video. We're going to send you a list of videos, and they are in categories like college student, career mom, stay-at-home mom, single mom. It's got all these different things, and you find the one that pertains to that prospect, and you get it to her, and you say, you look over this, you watch this video, and if you call me, I'm going to call you in 24 hours and see when we can have coffee, and I'm going to give you a free whatever, okay? Back before they had the little minis, I would give away lip glosses, okay? Lip glosses or mascaras. I would pay $15 for it. That out of my pocket. $15 retail is my price. Wholesale is $7.50. It was worth me being in front of a qualified prospect to give her the opportunity, because I knew 1 out of 3 I recruit, but over the phone it's 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5. And so I knew if I could get in front of her, I could overcome all her objections. And we're going to talk about objections in just a second. Now, you may not be a place in your business where you want to give away a lipstick or a lip gloss, Well, guess what? Go look on those minis on section 2. You can do a free eye makeup remover. Get her hooked on that mini. You can do a free lash intensity mascara sample. It's, I believe, $3. You can do a little pack of the little lip gloss minis. They are $5 to a pack. And you can just give away a lip gloss mini as a thank you for sitting down and having coffee with us. So give away something. Or even give them a $5 gift certificate or a $10 gift certificate to spend on anything they want at a later time. And so have an incentive, but follow up is the key. Don't send them home with a packet, and don't send them the video without setting a time to call them back. Now, we're all pretty much here in the South, and so here's what I'm going to tell you. All right, so we're talking about dissecting this. Women in the South will avoid you like the plague if they watch your video and they get spooked, okay? So we have to tell them up front, it is okay if you don't want to do Mary Kay. You will still be my spoiled rotten customer. So don't avoid me. I'm going to call you in 24 hours, because anything after 24 hours, you're going to be going back and forth. You're going to be straddling that fence, and that is no fun. You need to make a deadline to make a decision if this is for you or not, and then you can move on, I can move on, and you will still be my spoiled rotten customer, but just don't avoid me. And be real. You're a businesswoman or a businessman, Richard, and this is your business. And I don't like chasing down people. In fact, there's a realtor that I've texted twice and she didn't respond. I'm done. I'm a professional, and I like to work with professional people. Okay? And that's just it. Because I'm not going to beg you to do Mary Kay, because if I beg you and talk you into it, I have to beg you to work. And obviously you're not hungry enough if you don't want to go out and work. And I want to work with the new and the few, and those that are hungry for this business, which is the new and the few. So those are the things that I do. Hand them out a packet, send them a video, set the coffee date, and then once we have the coffee, follow up within 24 hours. After 24 hours, they forget why they were excited. It truly is an emotional decision at first, and while their emotions are excited, and then it becomes a logical decision. All right. So let's talk about who is a qualified prospect. All right. And I will tell you there are some exceptions. But I'm just going to tell you what I usually look for. And sometimes I will see a twinkle in someone's eye, and I just give them a chance. Not that I don't give everybody a chance, but I look for people who have finished something, okay? Anybody that has finished a trade, a school, they already got a career. Maybe even if they didn't finish, I didn't finish school, but I was established in my mortgage career. And so that was my career. And many of you have a career. So you look at that. The second thing is commitment. Are they committed to a person? Are they committed to children? Are they committed to a mortgage? Okay, check that off. Did they have $100? And the fourth thing is, did they try the product? Okay. Now, if somebody comes in and she hasn't finished anything, she's not really committed to anybody, or not a marriage or anything like that, please don't get offended. And she didn't buy product from you, and she tells you she doesn't have $100, and she's not going to book a party to get it for free, you have to let her go. There are people that will never work for things that they want, and that is beyond our pay grade to instill work ethic, how to finish something. Some people we can teach how to finish something if they've had that initial, I'm hungry, I want to work, I'm going to do this, I'll do anything, I'm working 3 jobs. I'm like, oh, let's go. If you don't have $100, we're going to work it out, because I see something. I see a sparkle. But sometimes when you bring people to me that they wouldn't have a party, they don't use the product, you get it. They're just probably not going to do well. Okay. It's lack of work ethic. And you literally you cannot save the world. There are exceptions. All right. Overcoming objections. When we're doing the marketing, you will hear me say, what would stop you from doing something like this? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the best thing that could happen? And you let them tell you, what's the worst thing? Well, I lose $100. Well, no, you really didn't, because you got over $500 worth of product, of amazing products. Oh, yeah. What's the best thing? Well, I can make some money. Yeah. All right. So tell me, what would stop you from doing this? And they would say, well, I don't have enough time. I would say, well, what I found is that the busier you are, the better you do. Okay. Women who have a lot of time on their hands tend to become really bad time managers. But women who have a full plate are really good at managing their time. Sometimes when a stay-at-home mom comes in and she's been home for a while from corporate America, she's lost her time management skills. And that's usually one of the first things I have to work with her on is, you need to be at the meetings on time. You need to go to your appointments on time. There are deadlines. This is your business. This is your baby. And so these are skills that can be taught. And so you don't shun them from that, but you work with them from that. So overcoming objections. A lot of people say, well, I'm too shy. Well, do you like being shy? No, neither did I. I didn't want my kids shy either, but you cannot teach what you do not know. As a mother, that scared the living daylights out of me, that I would raise shy children, because I knew the pain that it caused. But when I came into Mary Kay gave me the confidence and the voice that I've always wanted. And that I am just laser focused at what I'm doing in this business. I don't care what anybody says, okay? And so these are just a few of the objections that we have to overcome. But what you're doing is you're not talking them into it. You're peeling back like an onion what the real excuse is. And I'm going to tell you, we can overcome over every objection there is. And there's a list of them. But what it usually boils down to is two things. I'm scared, or I don't have $100. We can work with either of those, okay? Fear comes from Satan. Faith comes from God. What are you afraid of? And if she actually comes out and says, I'm afraid, I said, talk it out. And we talk it out. And by you sitting in front of your director, you literally get to hear her talk it out. And this is how you learn. If you never do enough of these, you never get proficient. Is that a word? Yes. In this skill. How do I know this? Because I did hundreds and hundreds of interviews with my sales director. Marion and Trinity are so awesome at this because they've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews with me. And so peeling back that layer, that onion, getting to the real, come on in, Hudson, the real reason why someone won't do this is usually fear or lack of money. Nope, they don't have $100. Here's what I usually say before we end, is that if an adult is in a situation where they do not have an extra $100, they need to get out of that situation. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. All right. That is the definition of insanity. All right. You're going to still be in a space or a place next month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, not having an extra $100 if you keep doing the same thing. That makes me nauseous thinking about that. Because I'm a go-getter. I'm a risk taker. I'm all about taking control, changing my situation. I love working with women like that and men like that. And so when you're sitting down in front of someone, this is your chance to give them a little bit of, some advice. Even, if you're an adult and you find yourself in this situation, let's do something about it. What do you have to lose? Let's go for it. And then you close them and you say, on a scale of 1 to 5, One being that you would never do this in a million years if you're living on the streets. And 5 being, hey, what do I have to lose? I blow $100 at Walmart every time I go. Let's go for it. But if they say, 1 or 2, they were not interested. Let them go. But if they say 3, 4, if they say 5, sign them up. If they say 3 or 4, say, okay, that's close enough to 5. I think you still have some demons to process and overcome, because I know it's going to be your fear factor that you've got to overcome. Because we can fix the $100. That's easy. But overcoming that fear, it literally comes from talking them out of it. Actually, from experience of falling down is all about getting back up. And so when they're at 3 or 4, you tell them to go home and pray about it. I'm going to call you back in 24 hours. I want you to tell me if you dream pink, because what I know is if you go home and you keep thinking about it, you go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, I'm telling you that is God telling you to do this. But if you leave here and the rest of the day you do not think about us at all and about our conversations, and you go to bed, you don't think about it, you wake up not thinking about it, and I call you and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. This is nothing. This probably is not for you, and we want you to remain a spoiled, rotten customer. Is that does that sound good? Is that fair? And then you send them on their way, but you follow up. You get the skill of following up. All right. So I know we went a few minutes past. Marianne, Trinity, do you guys want to share anything that I may have missed tonight? And then we're going to do the drawing for the prize.
You're awesome.
Thank you. Who is that?
Marianne.
Oh, you're awesome, Marianne. So you're so good at picking up what I missed. Did I not miss anything?
Nope.
Yay. Is Trinity on?
Yeah, I'm on. I don't think you missed anything. I just want to emphasize that literally sometimes we think of overcoming objections as like trying to convince somebody to do this, but like Michelle said earlier, you don't want to convince somebody to start a Mary Kay business, because then you're gonna have to convince them to work, and it's just not fun. But we as women, I especially, have this issue in my head where I like overthink everything. And so if you're overthinking it and you're thinking too much about it and you're just like, there's no way this could work into my schedule, I'm just too busy. Y'all, I was working 3 jobs when Michelle did one of these phone interviews with me for my recruiter. And literally I told her, I said, when I start something, I want to do it full-fledged. I want to put 100% into it. And I have 3 jobs. I can't do this. I don't have time. And so she was able to work it out with me in my head, how I could make time for this once a week with this business, and it changed my life. So she didn't talk me into it. She kind of helped me figure out my life without even knowing me, if that makes sense. So that's something that overcoming objections is super important to learn how to do, and the right words will literally help you. There's these cool flashcards online that I'll pull up and send to you guys for overcoming objections. Oh, I don't have time. Okay, well, we're all busy, like what Michelle said, or I don't know enough people, or I don't, have enough money. So there's all kinds of different ways to figure out how to overcome those objections. So just be confident in that, and just remember, we work with the best company that's out there. I'm telling you, it's awesome. So that's my little 2 cents.
Awesome. Hey, I'll add one more thing real quick, Michelle.
Okay.
One thing for me, I know I didn't want to share these appointments at first for a little while, and so I want to ask you, if you're not like, hey, let's just do this, this is my next step, I'm going to jump on board, ask yourself why not? Why aren't you willing to do that? And for me, honestly, it was the fear of rejection. And so I was letting my own fears get in the way of other people's destiny. It wasn't until 6 months later when I went to a fall retreat and I got to see like 10 different directors share their story and where they were before Mary Kay. And it was anything, like every human issue you could think of under the sun: divorce, suicide, eating disorders, overworked and underappreciated, just everything. And, it broke my heart. And that's when God spoke to me and said, this is not about you, it's about the other people. I totally got over me. I didn't care who said yes or no or what. I was out there to ask everybody to find those people who God, had needed this for, they needed it. And so I didn't filter anybody. I just asked everybody. And so I don't want you to feel like you have to wait until you have this like earth moving experience before you do this. We can either learn from people's good advice or we learn from experience, the hard way. And so if you just go ahead and just do it, you're just going to be so blessed and you're going to absolutely love it. Be like, I'm glad I listened to them. So if you're kind of hesitant or not sure about taking this next step in your business and working it full circle, ask yourself why. And if you still don't have the answer, talk to your director and have that conversation.
Thank you guys so much. That was so awesome, Marianne and Trinity. And speaking of that, one of the things, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, we're going to draw for the prize. A lot of people don't recruit because they think they're responsible for training, and you're not. You're not responsible for training anyone. That's what we're here for. Until you become a sales director, we are there. Even if you become a car driver, we still train your people. So take that off the table if that's what's stopping you from passing this opportunity on. Remember, you are denying someone their destiny. There were 5 ladies at my church that were already in Mary Kay before I ever got in, and not a single one of them shared this product with me or the opportunity. They assumed I was happy with my job and that I was too busy because I was a new mom. They denied me my destiny. But praise God, he found another way to get me in Mary Kay. And so if you don't do it, someone else will. Right, Lynn? She knows what I'm talking about. All right. So, Marianne, hold on. Let me get Hudson. Pick a number. What? 1 through 17, right, Marianne?
Yeah.
1 through 17. 5.
Melissa Garcia.
Woo! All right, Melissa, box me if you want a mirror for your your face mirror, or if you want a jewelry prize. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for being on. You guys have a great night. Sorry we were a few minutes over. Talk to you later. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
But did you know every time I need